right, well, welcome back, guys. I am going to try and do a little bank fishing. I'm going to just carry this box. It's just a junk box. It's got all kinds of just random stuff in it. I got a topwater frog, a couple of jerk baits, a rattle trap, small crankbaits, some swim bait, spinner bait, chatter bait, all kinds of little stuff in here. Rooster tail I've got on this red spinner bait. I'm gonna try this one on first, but I think what I'm gonna try and do today is just see what the fish are biting. It is Saturday, March 5th. It's right smack in the middle of the day. It's warm as hell. I think it's almost 80 degrees. It's definitely mid 70s right now. It's been warm for about 4 days. Cold front's coming through after a storm that's going to start tonight and into tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be kind of rainy. I was going to take the boat out, but you'll be able to tell in a minute the wind is horrific today, and I'm down in a bottom where I've got ridges surrounding me, and it's still windy down here, so I can only imagine what it would be on a big lake. So let's just go around the bank and see what we can't catch. I haven't really fished out here this year yet, so I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to go. I'm seeing a lot of fish really close to the bank. I really didn't give this jerkbait much of a chance. I fished with it for what, 10 minutes or so. But I'm going to jump straight to this frog. So what I've been seeing is fish swirls as I'm walking the bank. They're anywhere from right against the bank to out here in this outer edge of weeds. So instead of scaring them off as I go, I'm going to start off on the edge of the grass in case there's some out there a little bit deeper, and then I'm going to work my line straight through the different depths. And what this little shallow flat is, you see, first cast in to try to get it. I'm trying to explain stuff and the fish took it off the top. Clearly that was not a very big fish. It could have even been a bluegill, but the very first cast on a frog, that tells you what you need to know. What I was going to say is, this is a flat because the guy that I had to come and fix my dam took a chunk of the dam off to patch the hole. So it gives a, there he was, you see that? That was not a bad fish. I saw his head. So the frog is definitely the way to go. I may just have to go get a bigger bass rod with stiffer line where I can set the hook properly. I'm afraid to jerk too hard. Dang, they are not committing. All right, let's try this again. All right, that fish was about 2 feet in front of where, oh, right there. Oh man, my goodness. All right, I'm not gonna be able to do this very much more, and I'm gonna have to go get a better bait, because these fish are smashing this frog and they are just not getting it. I think if I had a popper with some trebles, I can get these fish. I just don't want to walk all the way back to the house and get it. All right, I'm gonna move up and try one more time, and then I'm gonna try some of these other baits before I take off. Wind's blowing a little bad, but there's some timber in the water right there. It's in a little bit deeper water. Maybe that might have a bigger fish on it. Like at that. Oh man, he missed it. See, he's knocking it out of the water. He can't actually get it in his mouth. I don't know if it's because he's that hungry. He's being too aggressive. But I mean, he came at it twice. I know there's a bass right there that wants to eat. I've had, I don't know, 8 to 10 blow-ups down this little stretch of grass. I know there's bass right here. They cannot get this bait in their mouth. Ideally, I would throw on a small popper with 2 treble hooks, and that would fix my problem because they wouldn't miss the trebles. But as it turns out, I only brought a handful of baits. So, what I really want to throw is a swim bait like this. That's not really the head I would want on there, but I think I'm going to leave it just since it's already rigged up. So I got this Kitech swim bait on, and that's one of those 360 heads. We're going to see if that doesn't work. I can change the head out on it. But I didn't really bring but a few swim baits with me. But my plan is, I know there's a fish right there, and there's a couple bass over here. I'm going to throw this, or throw a handful of baits until I figure out which one will actually catch one of these fish. I know they're here. They clearly want to bite. I'm not catching them. Something in my box will catch them. See? Look at that. First throw. Wow. This is what's biting me, and that's a pretty good sized fish. I don't know why they're struggling to get that frog in their mouth, but they are. I mean, that's a 1 pound fish. That frog would have fit in his mouth just fine. I think they're just short striking it. But that shows you, you just switch baits until you find what works. The frog was working to get the bites. I just didn't get the hook up, but that exposed hook and that swim bait got it done. All right, so I know there were a couple of fish in this corner. See if we can't get one of them to tag this. Yep, immediately. This is what I thought was hitting that frog, was this thing right here. This is what I kept seeing. See, that's a small bass, and you can get them on these swim baits, but they'll hit that frog all day long. You'll never catch that thing on a frog. Not that frog I had. There he is. Whoa. Yep. Another dink. That's why that frog was getting so many hits, but I couldn't land them, was this fish like this. It's only slightly windy, so that fish, that's about the size that was hitting that frog. Alright guys, this is the next day. It's about to start raining. I'm gonna try to fish from inside. Then if I do any good, maybe I'll go out there. I'm just curious if the fish have come up here in the shallows. There he is. Got a fish immediately. You ever fished from inside your house before? That's pretty awesome. The fish are definitely biting in the morning. And that's on that smaller white Kitech. There he is. Got another one. Oh, little bitty guy. Oh, and he came off. That little guy was right against the bank. I think I should be out going down the bank fishing. They seem like they're biting. You guys can hear that wind. It's pretty ridiculous. There he is. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little fish. Well. So the bass are definitely biting in the morning. So yesterday I was fishing it. I didn't start fishing until whatever that was, like 12:30. Ooh, I had another fish that fast. And I really wasn't doing much good. I was getting some bites, but I wasn't catching many fish. And I've had 3 in just like 5 minutes right here. So I definitely think that the fishing is better in the morning out here. There, I got another one already. Look at that. Look, they're all in the same little spot right there. That's 4 bass on the same, in the same spot. See? Awesome. There he was, got him. They're all in the same spot. There must be a lot of bait fish right there. It's not a very big fish, but if I catch one too big, I can't reel it up. Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and go outside. It's pretty awesome that I can fish out of my sunroom though. So I've already caught like 5 bass right here in just like, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes. So I know the fish are biting. Yesterday I couldn't catch anything, but I didn't get started until about 12:30. So I think the key is being out here right at the crack of day. So I'm gonna get my boots on and let's go hit the bank. It looks like all the fish were in that one little pocket. Nope, there he is, I got him. The back of the cove's got these little guys in it. But they're definitely feeding. Little guy, but I'll take a little guy. Oop. Let's see if there's some fish right out in there. Yep, got him. Little guy. Well, that's good. At least I know I can still catch these little ones on this bigger Kitech. I'm gonna have to get in there today and order some more of those small ones. Here come the geese. Let's see if they even notice that I'm here. They'll be back. There he was, right there. He was right at the break of the grass right there. I think what's happened is this water is warmed up and the bait fish have gotten in all this grass. And these bass are just coming and going, ambushing them. But they're not just staying there and hanging out. There he is. Got him. I watched that fish hit it. I mean, when this fish came up, he looked black in the water. He's obviously not very black. He's actually got some black on him right there. That's usually caused from parasites. So when you're fishing down the bank, fish are really easy to spook. I mean, especially here, the water's getting clear again, and they can feel the vibrations of your feet and they can see you. And if you walk up, they immediately spook. So you either do one of two things, or three things. You walk stealthily down the bank and try to not spook them, which is nearly impossible. You fish down the bank, or you fish down there where you haven't walked, or you fish in a spot long enough for those fish to start creeping back up in here. What I've seen is if I sit here and throw this bait, when I first walk up and don't catch anything, if I hang out here for about 10 minutes, look, right there, a fish comes back. See? I've already been fishing here for a handful of minutes, wasn't getting any bites. A little bit of time passed, and then them bass came right back up in here. They don't wait long. They know they're hungry and they're trying to eat. See if we can't do that again. I want a fish or a turtle right there at the end of that grass, right in there. There it was a bass. I got a lot of fish in here this size. I need to take some of these out. Guess I'm gonna have to cook some fish. All right. So since the swim bait seemed to work so good and I want to catch a larger fish, I'm gonna upgrade to this chatterbait. It still has a Kitech on the back of it, but it's a much bigger profile. It has some more bluegill colors in it, and it's got a lot more vibration to give that attraction from more of a distance. There he was. Wow. It's not a very big fish, but he's bigger than what I was catching. No, it's not that much bigger, but he is probably the biggest fish that I've caught so far, which isn't saying very much. But hung that fish on the chatterbait in, I mean, inches of water in that grass that looked like that right there. All right, guys, I'll keep switching baits, and I'm good for one fish every time I switch baits, but the Kitech is just dominating. So I really wanted to see if I could throw a different bait to catch a bigger fish, but I can still catch bigger fish on this too. It seems to be producing far better than any other bait that I'm throwing. There he is. Got him. Ooh, a little better fish, or he's fighting good anyway. Not a big one, but yeah, he'll do. See, I just threw that chatterbait through there, I don't know, a dozen times. Nothing. Put the Kitech swim bait by itself back on, immediately caught a fish. That's the third or fourth cast. Rain seems to be dying down now, but I got this little, more like a bluegill, miniature bluegill profile, tiny swim bait. Seeing if this might pull something out. It's probably gonna pull out a super tiny bass. That bluegill bit by me throwing out, letting it sink. It's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet of water right there. It's not very deep. And then I'm just running that bait as close to the bottom as I can. Just creeping it back. Here he is. Got him. Hey, look at there. Caught a crappie. Not a bad crappie either. Well, I did catch a crappie out the window. I can tell he's getting a little bit of a belly, so I think they're getting ready to spawn. But that's pretty nice. I may have some crappie up in the coves there. So crappie in the small ponds are getting ready to spawn. I hate to drop him from this high. There he goes. As long as he doesn't do a side buster. Got another one. That's gonna do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and with any luck and good weather, I'll see you back here next week.